Hey everyone, I thought I'd make a quick video on how to play against Flavia when she starts using her abilities. Generally speaking, for her skill, there are two things you need to consider. You need to consider your cover and whether or not she's overextended. In this clip, we see Flavia use her skill, but due to our cover, we are in no real danger. After it expires, we go for the punish and she ends up stranded on the pillar while her teammates fall back, meaning that we can eventually overwhelm her. This intentional avoidance of her skill nets you a good reward if you can pull it off, but in reality, the higher elo you go, the frequency for which you can pull this off decreases. For one, you need to quickly make the decision to go for this option, and if it turns out that the Flavia isn't punishable, then she would have just gotten free damage and info on your team. She also has an upgrade that gives an additional 2 seconds to her skill duration, which is a technical counter to this option. Back to the clip. After this point, the Flavia needs support to safely stay in this forward position. She's just hanging around, reloading with no direct info on lower mid. With no support, she needs to fall back to this pillar or to her teammate and reload and regain awareness. The other option is to pop her skill and chase. This is going to be your bread and butter against Flavia. Any ability that affects movement is really helpful when chasing her down. Chasing is so strong that you don't even need to shoot her blind, since you can still see at close range and often the blind will get blocked by something. Shooting the blind actually helps Flavia, since you're expending bullets while giving her temporary armor. You should consider shooting the blind if the blind is actually good or if you can conveniently break it. Note that if you're playing main, you can also build some armor by shooting it. Aiga can also build some heat by shooting it. All these clips from higher elo lobbies make it look very simple, and so you'll see way more gaps against lower elo Flavias. You need to build this intuition for these two punish options because you'll miss the punish if you act too late. So try to analyze your replays or think about your previous rounds while you're in your preparation phase and really try to give yourself feedback on these specific punish options. Obviously, there are more complex situations, like if the Flavia just continues running in to make space, especially on retake, but then we need to evaluate more macro positioning before the skill comes into play. What I want to hammer in is the specific punish at the skill portion because it happens so frequently at all levels of play and it's a very specific situation that is easy to identify versus trying to evaluate good positioning, which is a massive topic outside the scope of this short video. So focus on the two punish options and use the replay function to look at the stuff leading up to the engagement. Lastly, let's cover her ultimate really quick. If she is isolated from her team and casts her ultimate, you can consider just chasing her down inside her ultimate. After each pop, she needs to re-equip her gun, and so you have the advantage as long as she doesn't have support from her team. This option typically doesn't happen very often because she'll have support or she'll start running back to her team right before her ultimate expires. It is pretty funny to pull off though. Your other option is to run outside the circle and try to play the round from there. If she's revealed or starts shooting your team, you can try to track her down from outside the circle, meaning that she won't revive if she goes down. Your last attempt is to just play inside the circle, which sometimes you'll just be forced to do, but at that point you aren't really trying to counterplay her ultimate, so we won't cover that option. If you're playing Flavia, you need to be extra careful about fighting people outside your circle. Usually you'll have the advantage since you'll start the gunfight while invisible, but as we see in this clip, if the attackers know where you roughly are and you're low HP, it can be kind of risky peeking. Both teams here play it well. The attackers run out of the circle and try to down the Flavia from outside the circle, while the Flavia is hiding behind the pillar and really wants to bait them into coming inside the circle to pop her so that she can regain all of her HP. After her ultimate expires, she uses her skill onto sight, and considering her low HP, she gets a lot of damage and gets all the info we need to win the round. Going back to this clip again, here we see perfect usage of her skill and ultimate. Her skill gets her onto the site, and the ultimate keeps her alive and causes absolute chaos on site, which corrals them into this room. From there, she's able to get 2 downs on the attackers outside the circle. That's it for today's video. My next video should be coming out hopefully later this week. Make sure to subscribe and comment down below what I should cover in my next video.